Greetings, my fans. Now, if you remember from my last Storytime video, I said I probably wasn't going to do another one, maybe one more. But if I have an interesting story to tell, I figure why not? I'm running out of ideas for videos anyway, so might as well tell some of these stories. So, for this video, I'm going to tell you about how I got kicked out of the drama program in my high school. So, first, let's get this started by taking it back to the beginning. So I decided to join the drama program because, well, frankly, I had nothing better to do. My brother and sister, did band. My brother did sports and all those things. I was really the only one who didn't join a club. I mean, I did a year of football, but I hated it. I did get an award at the end of the year, but then again, it was just more of apparently it was a future coach thing, but that was just this first speech I gave. But moving on. So I auditioned for a play, and I got the role I was going for, and a few extras actually. So then we did the auditions. We did the practices. I showed up to all my practices, even though the practices on Tuesdays and Thursdays was pretty difficult because I had karate almost immediately after and didn't have time to eat in between. So that was made it a little difficult, but either way, I went to all of the rehearsals. And heck, I even stayed a couple of days after to help with set things like changing changing the curtains. And then we had the day of the play. Now the thing is, there was a scene. There was a scene where I had to quickly change between two characters. It wasn't really a scene; it was two different scenes. So I close out the scene. The play was called Crazy Town. It was a news broadcast thing where I was on I was this one person. I was bringing in I was doing the exit thing to go into another thing, which was in a police interrogation room. But I was also the person getting interrogated in that room. So I had to change what I look like completely fast. Which wasn't that hard. I just wore part of the costume underneath the other one. And I managed to get into the costume pretty fast. But the thing was, my first character was either... I'm pretty sure he was stoned. So I gave it... So, during the makeup thing that they had us do... Well, it wasn't really makeup. They had us put on eyeliner. Well, I had someone else put it on until I couldn't stop poking myself in the eye with it. But when we were setting up for it, I wanted to make my hair look like it was messed up. Like having bedhead. So I asked my teacher it was the band director. I asked him if I could. I told him that I only had one comb and it was questionable as to whether it would be allowed. He said it was okay, and when I got there, I showed him the comb. It's a gag comb that looks like a switchblade until you open it. And when I got there, before the play started, we were there a few hours early, I made sure that everyone there knew it was a comb. I even specifically asked the drama director if it was okay that I had it. He said it was okay, and I even let a couple people borrow it because I wanted the play to turn out good. So we did it. I did the scene. I fixed I put my hair down because I go from being a guy with with bedhead to a guy with basically a comb over was what I think would go with his character. Ultimately, it goes pretty well, and then that goes off almost as fine the next day. With the only real problem being that I got stuck in a spot on the set when I was helping move parts of the setting from the stage off of the stage to the side. I actually got stuck between this a wall and a trunk that was being used for one of the things. But ultimately, I got stuck there for about 10 minutes, and since I had already changed in my costume for my last role, which was actually one of the last roles in the entire play, I ultimately didn't really have much to risk, so I figured I'd just wait for it to end, and then ultimately wait for it to be over. But then some problems ensue, people get upset about it, and then ultimately the rest of the play goes on. We do it. We finish the play, we all take a bow, and since it was the second day, that was the last time we did the play. So it was actually pretty good. I was proud of my work. Ultimately, I say there were only 3 people there who actually were doing any decent acting. Me, this kid named Scout, and my friend Tyler. But then again, I realized that some people in my school might end up watching this, and I might end up getting in some serious trouble for it. Wait, no, I'm not. They can't get to me anyway. So, of course, the next day happens, and well, I'm in my English class because that's my first period, and then a person from the office comes into class, pulls me out. I bring all my stuff and go to the office. He starts asking me questions. I ask what's going on because there have been cases where cops have taken me out of class before. There's nothing suspicious there. And ultimately, turns out someone claimed that I brought a knife to the play. So basically, I undergo a bunch of questions. I have to, I show the guy every video I posted on my YouTube channel at the time, which I think was the last video I posted at that time was it was before my first zombie weapons video. So I think my last video I did was my staff routine, because I remember showing him that one specifically. And so then he also has me hand over my phone, but ultimately after that he just sends me to another room where I undergo a psych evaluation, basically. And then after all this questioning and other stuff is done, I get sent to ISR for until I figure everything out. And at this point, I am panicking because I have never been sent to the office in my life, except for one time where I got in trouble because another kid punched me in the face, and I got in trouble because I apparently agitated him by breathing. I had never been in trouble at school before, and I had never been sent to the office. ISR, especially not. So I'm panicking, so I'm doing the one thing that I could think of to calm myself down. I take one of my pencils and start playing the knife game. Turns out I actually impressed some of the people in ISR. But ultimately, eventually, I keep looking at the clock, in between games of the knife game, and ultimately, a few hours pass, nothing. A couple more hours pass. Couple hours. The entire thing took, first thing took a few hours, and then the waiting took a few hours, and then I finally get told that my mom did let them know that it was in fact a comb. So then I ended up getting sent back to class after missing lunch and missing most of my classes, including chem physics, Spanish. Actually, I'm glad I got out of that. Machine tools. And of course, I mentioned lunch. And I get sent back to class to algebra. Of all of the classes that I miss, the ones I get skipped are some of my favorites. And then I get sent back in algebra, my least favorite. That was probably one of the worst parts of that day. I get sent back. And then, ultimately, I'm told that there's no real problem, nothing's being held against me, and that I'm perfectly fine. So, a couple months pass. The next play that we were doing in the high school got announced. It was actually a musical, Freaky Friday. And I am getting ready for this audition. I've never actually seen Freaky Friday, So I'd be reading the script for the first time, when doing the auditioning for the play. But ultimately, I'm preparing for it by, watching some musicals and singing along to it. Yeah, of course, I didn't do this with anyone. And and ultimately, I was pretty confident, that I would be able to, get a part in it. And then, well, remember the title of the video. So, yeah, I'd make sure to tell my mom that, the day that we go for auditions, and that she'll have to pick me up at 5. So, after school ends, I had already read the script for the auditions 5 times. That day alone, I read it and reread it several times. I just wanted to guarantee that I'd have a good shot at this, because I got the script from band director earlier. I just So then I show up for the auditions in his room. I knew where it was because he was right next to my Spanish class because he was another Spanish teacher. But ultimately, I show up and he tells me I'm not allowed to audition for this play. I got kicked out of the program for the accusation of bringing a knife to the play. I bring up the fact that I was proven innocent and that the accusation was false, but he says that the accusation alone was enough to get me kicked out. Ultimately, I was severely mad, but I just can't stand here, for a few hours, and I just can't stand here, for an hour and a half, and wait until 5 for when my mom picks me up. So, I run as fast as I can, get my backpack out of my locker, put everything in my backpack, and run. And then run as fast as I can to the buses, just barely making it. I was out of breath when I made it. Ultimately, I made it home, told my family all about this. My dad was mad. My brother was mad, but I can't remember much else. But all I really remember was it. I talked to the drama director, and he said that if I was lucky, there might be another play at the end of the year that I could audition for, just not this one. So, I auditioned for it. Just kidding, I don't. I don't even think that they managed to get I don't even think they finished Freaky Friday. In fact, I ran into the head of the drama program, in the hallways one day. I asked him how the play is going. He says it's going good. And I asked if he still, if he figured out what the last play of the year was going to be, because we discussed during Freaky Friday that it might have been a play based on Marvel Comics. Of course, it was probably going to suck since it was either going to be about Captain Marvel or Squirrel Girl. But ultimately, he tells me that there's probably not going to be another play this year. But on the bright side, there wasn't another play that year either, because Freaky Friday had to be canceled because they never finished it. The school year basically ended, which I think is a pretty good payback. Well, it's not really payback, it's more karma. Or just me getting out of having to, getting lucky and not having to deal with the frustration of working hard for a play only to have it be canceled. Ultimately, that's it. This is the story of how I got kicked out of the drama program and almost expelled. But that wouldn't fit in the title. But ultimately, this just goes to show you can't trust people, regardless of if they're an authority figure or not. So, with that in mind, remember if you like this video, remember to press the like button. And if you want to support this channel, share this video, and maybe every other video I have. Your choice, really. And if you want to see more of my content, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified of any more videos I post, make sure you hit the bell button. with that in mind, thank you for watching, and this is Random Man, signing off.